Okay, how you doing? Paul the trombonist here. Getting some messages again about people wanting to know about the improvisation and how its improvisation is going to be working, okay? So I'm just going to it's a little short video about how to go about improvisation. It's a lot of topic. I'm talking years and years of study to really get it. But I can tell you a couple little things that will help you get yourself right on the way, okay? Now, the first and foremost important thing, hello, I'm trying to do a video, someone's honking outside, is that you must, very important, you must learn your 12 major scales inside and out. And I'm not talking about just knowing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm talking about knowing them where someone's like, what is the third scale degree, which means the third note in the scale, of the D flat major scale. And you can just rattle off F. What about C major, fifth note? You go G. No hesitation, inside and out, cold turkey. Bada booding, bada bingo, gaga wingaba. Now, once you get that going, then you can start to do a little bit with the patterns on this major scales, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, like that kind of thing. And so on. And you can also do it in thirds, which is like 1, 3, 2, 4, and so on. And do that on all 12 of the major scales. Then you can just jam on a tonality. You can be like, okay, today is going to be F major day. I'm going to jam on F major today. So you pick a different day and you just jam on it. So F major day. Then you take the scale like this. And you can even go the octave higher if you want. And then you just jam on it. So I'm going to jam on F major and just show you like how that goes. And the tonality of F major. Whatever, okay? So that is F major. And you do that with all 12 of the scales. So you can just get really into the tonalities, okay? Really into the tonalities. Now, inside each major scale are all the harmony and chords that you need to know, okay? All of the major chords, all of the minor chords, all of the dominant 7 chords are inside these major scales. For example, let's just start real basic. We got C major, okay? Now, the first, third, fifth, and seventh note of C major are going to give yourself the C major 7 chord. Now, an arpeggio just simply means playing one note at a time of the harmony of the chord. So a C major 7 arpeggio would sound like this. 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Now, you see how I did that? It's basically every other note of the major scale to get that. Now, if you do that on each one of the notes of the major scale, that will give you another world of all of the diatonic harmony associated with that scale. So, diatonic just means in the key. So we took care of the first one. Now, let's do the second note of the C major scale and do the same thing where we go every other in that key signature. So we would have D, F, A, and C. Now that gives ourselves a nice little D minor 7 arpeggio, or a D minor 7 chord if you play them all at once on the piano. Just like that, beautiful. So you can do that for each one of the scale degrees of that scale. So the next one would be E minor, E, G, B, D, okay? And the next one would be F major, and the next one would be G7, and so on, and then A minor, and then we would get yourself a nice little half diminished one, okay? So, and then you get your major again. So anyways, that gives us the tonalities. Now each single 12 major scales has these worlds in them. And there's also scales associated with the harmony to each one. So like for example, the C major 7, the scale associated with it is a C major scale. The D minor one, you can do the D minor scale, or you could do the Dorian scale, which is also used in jazz a lot because of a raised sixth, which sounds really hip. Okay? Now, So you get that going. So if you know your 12 major scales, you already know your mixolydian scales and your minor scales just are automatically. And it's just a different mindset, a different perspective to get it in. Because C major is actually the same note, the pool of notes is A minor. Okay, and it works like that with a lot of different of these scales. You start to unravel as you go along. So if you just get the muscle memory and the things together, it's just where you're starting the fundamental pitch, the first note of the scale, and your last note of the scale is going to kind of change the tonality of it, but the same notes are kind of associated with it. So the scales associated with each one of the first one is C major for the first one, and for the D minor, you got the D minor scale, or the Dorian, and the third one is going to be your Phrygian for the E minor, and then you got your Lydian, then you got your mixolydian, your Aeolian, which is also natural minor, and then you got your Locrian, which is the next one. Those are called modes, and those are inside the major scales. This is just overview. Some of you probably know this stuff, but it's just really important. If I don't talk on it, people are going to be like, why did you bring that up? So that is that. Next up is you must figure out, when you're looking at a chord progression, these half-step relationships when the chords change. Now, these half-step relationships, like from chord tone to chord tone. So, the most colorful chord tones of any chord are the thirds and the sevenths, because they're going to what distinguish if it's a major, a minor, or a dominant. So, you need to know these and know these half-step relationships, and they're called guide tones, these little half-step relationships. So we'll just take a little chord progression in the key of C major, and it's called a 2-5-1, because it's the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and the 1 chord. And that 2 chord just means the chord built on the 2nd scale degree, and the 5 chord just means the chord built on the 5th scale degree. We talked about this, the D minor, the G7, which is also called the dominant chord, to the major, C major. So, you learn these arpeggios, and you learned where the half-step relationships are. And you want to connect the dots, okay? So when you start your idea, you want to start your idea on a chord tone, and when the chord changes, you want to go to the smoothest next chord tone possible in the line. Now, it can't be all like jumping up and down. It's going to sound angular and weird, but the smoothest way possible. So you learn these guide tones, and usually through thirds and sevenths, and what you do over time is you embellish them once you get them ingrained in your brain. So let's take this chord progression I was talking about. So it's like D, so here D minor 7, and then G7, and then C major. It's called 2-5-1. Now you learn them like that, 1-3-5-7, you learn them like that, and you learn them on the piano too, and learn the scales associated with them. But we'll do the scales later, because the most important thing is the chord tones. You can actually solo just on chord tones, and it's going to sound musical and great. And in fact, all the old swing guys, they used to improvise like this by just going on chord tones. Gosh, this video is already getting long, but okay, just really quick, here's some chord tones of D minor 7, the G7, and the C major. And I'm just going to improvise on it, only using chord tones, not even scales yet. The main thing is learn your major scales, and then if you want, you can hit me up with a Skype lesson. I've been doing that to a lot of different people watching this. They've been wanting to get Skype lessons. Just email me, paulthetrombonist@gmail.com, and we'll figure out how to do a Skype lesson. And also want to let you know, check out paulthetrombonist.com. I got my arrangements that are about to be released, and I'm working on releasing my album right now. If you're watching this in the future, it's probably out already, so you can pick it up. I got an album, all of my greatest hits from the past 2 years, so it's the best material from a tune every week for 2 years, and I picked like the top 12 or 13 of those tunes from my videos, remastered, remixed. It's gonna be slamming. So you better check that out, okay? Thank you so much.
You've just watched The Adventures of Paul the Trombonist. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There are new videos every single week.